Proverbs chapter 15. A gentle response diffuses anger, but a sharp tongue kindles a temper fire. Knowledge flows like spring water from the wise. Fools are leaky faucets, dripping nonsense. God doesn't miss a thing. He's alert to good and evil alike. Kind words heal and help. Cutting words wound and maim. Moral dropouts won't listen to their elders. Welcoming correction is a mark of good sense. The lives of God-loyal people flourish. A misspent life is soon bankrupt. Perceptive words spread knowledge. Fools are hollow. There's nothing to them. God can't stand pious poses, but he delights in genuine prayers. A life frittered away disgusts God. He loves those who run straight for the finish line. It's a school of hard knocks for those who leave God's path, a dead-end street for those who hate God's rules. Even hell holds no secrets from God. Do you think he can't read human hearts? Know-it-alls don't like being told what to do. They avoid the company of wise men and women. A cheerful heart brings a smile to your face. A sad heart makes it hard to get through the day. An intelligent person is always eager to take in more truth. Fools feed on fast food fads and fancies. A miserable heart means a miserable life. A cheerful heart fills the day with song. A simple life in the fear of God is better than a rich life with a ton of headaches. Better a bread crust shared in love than a slab of prime rib served in hate. Hot tempers start fights. A calm, cool spirit keeps the peace. The path of lazy people is overgrown with briars. The diligent walk down a smooth road. Intelligent children make their parents proud. Lazy students embarrass their parents. The empty-headed treat life as a plaything. The perceptive grasp its meaning and make a go of it. Refuse good advice and watch your plans fail. Take good counsel and watch them succeed. Congenial conversation, what a pleasure. The right word at the right time, beautiful. Life ascends to the heights for the thoughtful. It's a clean about face from descent into hell. God smashes the pretensions of the arrogant. He stands with those who have no standing. God can't stand evil scheming, but he puts words of grace and beauty on display. A greedy and graspy person destroys community. Those who refuse to exploit live and let live. Prayerful answers come from God-loyal people. The wicked are sewers of abuse. God keeps his distance from the wicked. He closely attends to the prayers of God-loyal people. A twinkle in the eye means joy in the heart, and good news makes you feel fit as a fiddle. Listen to good advice if you want to live well. An honored guest among wise men and women. An undisciplined, self-willed life is puny. An obedient, God-willed life is spacious. Fear of God is a school in skilled living. First you learn humility, then you experience glory. So I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, we went to church, but we weren't like the super churchgoers, you know, the kind that were at church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, you know, those like either pastors' kids that worked at church, but I even knew some families that were they were there all the time. They looked super spiritual. They looked like they had their stuff together, you know, I guess super spiritual. I don't know. We weren't the super saved people. So at the very end, chapter 33, I want to read it again in the Amplified version. It says, "The reverent and worshipful fear of the Lord brings instruction in wisdom, and humility comes before honor." And so again, in what we read in the Message translation, it says, "Fear of God is a school in skilled living. First you learn humility, then you experience glory." So again, that's why I like the Message version. I think that it's a really fun translation. So here's the thing that I didn't understand until I was much older and I came back to my faith and decided that I really wanted to deepen my relationship with God. The fact that you have to learn humility. We don't really, at least I never really had a deep discussion with somebody about what that meant. So right now with my experience for the last over 8 years, because I really started coming back when I was pregnant with my second child. So it's been over 8 years now. It's a long time. But learning humility is really about breaking off all the things that you think you know. Especially in my case, I had a lot of things. I had a lot of walls built up. I had been hurt a lot. I really developed this idea that I had to know everything in order to protect myself. That saying of, there's no bad question, I did not believe that. Even as a child, I was like, oh, you say that, but I'm going to ask a question, you're going to ridicule me. So there's a lot of root issues at this, but it really started as I was a child. Like, I really thought that I had to be the one who knew it all, which is ridiculous because you don't know anything as a kid. And my goodness, thank God he cut that down off of me because I didn't know anything, and I was stunting my growth in learning because I felt like I couldn't ask questions because people would judge me, I guess. So really the humility part is really breaking off the things that you think you know. I think it also goes into breaking off all the things that you think you can do without God. Because in the end, what he wants you to realize is that you can do nothing without him. You can do all things through him and nothing without him. And that's hard to understand, I think, sometimes because, especially in America, and especially if you grew up sort of middle class or poor, and I grew up in the Midwest, and I think this is pretty true for middle America, is like, you get up, you go out, you work. You know, most of us started working at about 15. I think the laws have changed now. But 14, 15 years old, we had part-time jobs. Our parents expected us to become responsible, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I have nothing against that. But I think we really think that there are certain things that we do so that we don't have to ask God's help almost. Like, okay, I got this part, and then I'll come over here. Almost like we don't want to bother God, you know? I think that's how we see it. Like, I have to have a certain amount of things that I don't need to bother God about because he's got too many other things going on. You know, we're brought up to be self-sufficient people, and even in our relationship with God, and that's really hard to change. It took me a long time to change that because the reality is that he wants to do everything with you. Everything. And so he really has to break you down because you can, it's a certain pride to think that you can do these things without him. You know, even though you think that you're doing it in order to kind of not bother him or to be self-sufficient, like, because I guess if you, with your parents, you're like, look at me, I can do this. You know, I think of my little one who can get dressed and she's, look at me, I can do this all by myself. No, I can do this. I can zip it. I can do this. And that's a natural human thing. That's part of growing. That's part of becoming mature. And of course, God wants you to be mature, and he wants you to go out and work and do stuff. He does not, as we have read so many times in Proverbs now, and we're only halfway through, he does not like lazy people. But he also wants you to realize that he doesn't want you to have like a separate life from him. So the things that you can do where you don't have to bother him, and then, okay, over here, I kind of need you, God. So all these little things he has to break off of you, and when he can break them off and bring you down to a humbleness of saying, all right, God, I'm here. I just want to be with you. I just want to do what you say. So I really think that God humbles us down. I've journeyed on this for the last 8 years of being humbled down, realizing where I need help, realizing what I need to cut out, realizing where I need to change how I think, change my heart on issues, change how I see things, and just that humbling. And then you get to walk in the glory because he's going to then help you walk into what he has planned for you, which is absolutely glorious. So I know that there's a lot more to this chapter, but I really assume and know that you guys are smart and that these little tidbits of truth have spoken to you in your own way. If there is something that really stood out to you, I would love to hear about it. If you comment below. If you like the video, please hit like, hit subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you next time.